Well, good morning, everybody. It's January 29th. It's Wednesday, 2020. Oh, so much going on in the world. The wanted to share with the community how I came about what I came about. Okay, and the like I've told you guys that believe it or not, you know, these things and tricks and everything, I'm not trying to profit off of this other than for my own consumption. But I'm going to share with you the principles and where I studied and got my background on different ways of handling energy and what it does. The first guy I want to tell you about is a guy he's a Russian physicist, and his name is Tariel Kapanadze. And Tariel demonstrated a unit that had a battery input, and once it was resonating, it would continue in operation. And a lot of people back when I was studying this, and I was studying this about 10 years ago, okay? And it was amazing to me because you take the primary input and it would resonate off the capacitors. And Joseph Newman also knew about this, the Newman motor, even before then. But it's a very easy scheme. I'm going to put it up there for you of the way that it works. And I didn't come up with this. My poor wife, I'd be up early doing research and everything. And I studied Tariel a lot. He posted videos, had videos posted. Of course, it was all in Russian. I didn't speak a word of Russian, still don't. But after watching the videos and understanding things that was going on, I learned a lot of the keywords and got what was important. So this is a long journey. I started working with hydrogen. Okay, that's the hydrogen atom in a represented in a glass form. And the hydrogen is really neat to me. And but basically, I started working with hydrogen in about 2000 and the different devices, working with brown gases, and then really learning how to hydrogenate and impregnate metals ionically. And that was the basis for it. But the Tariel actually showed us ways to do the ground potentials, and the circuitry is very, very simple. And the device in mapping that out, and I didn't map all this out, but you know, I recorded pictures and stuff from various people about how the system worked. This coil right here is called the hand grenade coil because it kind of resembles the old German hand grenades. Okay, and the concept of having the three different types of ground. One's kind of a virtual ground, and no, Jason, I've never heard of the primer cube. How you doing, buddy? But the Don Smith, when he came up with his version of basically the work that Tariel Kapanadze did, And then Akula is another guy that really took it and worked with different metals and everything and learned how to resonate from different grounds and virtual grounds. And this is a piece from Don Smith's work, and one of the coils that he actually did, this was actually a bifilar pancake coil, okay, that he used off of a Tesla coil. So in boiling that down, when you understand it, it's a multiphasic property that's going on. And what I mean by multiphasic, it resembles what I call parametric, but there's several phases that's going on in output from relatively the same input. And so what happens is depending on how you stage it, and I always work on a 9-to-1 ratio, and it always worked out. If I had 40 watts of input, I could realize a potential depending on okay, appreciate that. 400 watt potential charging unit, and the Bedini coil showed us about the same thing, other than John Bedini wasn't using multiphasic. And the reason I wanted higher resonance when I started getting into the 10 kilohertz band easily was because you can get a bigger effect as far as potential for battery charging. Now, I took lead acid batteries about as far as they could go, and that was my dilemma when I started using inverted power. And the problem is a 100 amp hour battery is at 12 volts it'll deliver 12 watts for about 100 hours, and it'll do that pretty easily day in and day out. 24 volt system give you about 24 watts. 36 volt system give you about 36 watts, and that's for 100 hours. Okay. In a 48 volt system, they'll give you about 48 watts for 100 hours. Okay. And so in the smaller scales, you can get a potential to keep that Q factor up really high. But the way I did it is not through normal means. And so you're going to see it coming out and understand it. It's the same way that we took CRT screens and have changed them to flat screens. And the CRTs had more energy input. And of course, they were dealing with higher voltage outputs. Now we're doing the same thing size-wide. If you were to do a CRT that size, it'd be really heavy and really different to use. So as technology evolves and changes, you're going to see these units coming out getting higher Q factors, especially with electric cars, electric boat motors, and different type of generation systems. So when you understand that it's really just a management system, it's a multiphasic onboard charging system that is not out in mainstream yet, but it is going to be released. So when these incredible runtimes start coming out, you'll have a basics to understand how it works. I can't come out and tell you all the components and everything, but I can tell you the basic concept of the way it works. Now, in working with battery manufacturers that call themselves the biggest in the world, a lot of our battery management systems have been produced overseas, and a lot of the overseas people have discovered what I'm talking about, and I'm getting more and more confirmation every day that that's coming out. So I wanted to share with you that the Don Smith for example, claimed, and it was written right on the transformers, specifically neon sign transformers and microwave oven transformers, that the input would be less than what the output was. Well, the truth is through multiphasing. Let's say that you've got a 450 watt input. If you're phasing this side of your channel at 450 watts and you drive it this way 450 watts in an induction type system, then your realized potential between those is 900 watts. And so it's just a matter of timing in the way that you say it. The AC system works very well in that realm, and pulse width modulation works very well in that realm. And so that's the basic of the pulse charging. I lead people back to the schoolgirl Bedini motor because actually it's all right there. Information that I found out by hard research and working with guys that should know something about it in working with it. And we're coming to an age to where we can run electric vehicles. Instead of a couple hours, we can get much longer performance. The goal performance that I'm going at 15 kW is 216 hours, okay? And it's pretty big pie to chew on. But it's not magic. It's just it's facilitated by a multiphasic onboard charging system that just takes the input of what the units can handle, and the output is done by sheer numbers, okay? And I mean sheer numbers. So it gets, it's algorithmic when you're working with the low voltage side until you get the voltage up higher. Of course, this does transmute to the supercapacitor type batteries and supercapacitors themselves. So the hybrid batteries are coming out as far as densities. The reason that I keep coming back to carbon batteries is because the potential voltage that I need to send through them is much higher than what lead acid can handle them. And the alkaline batteries back in the day, just by sheer size and weight, would do that. And then when they reduced them down to what they now term as the iron Edison cells, and Edison really didn't create the alkaline type battery. His big development was in the rubbers and plastics that the alkaline didn't react with through the vulcanizing process. So understand that he was just a researcher like the rest of us, and he worked with different big corporations in doing that. And like I said, I really don't want to get involved with the corporate side of it. I just know what the foundation side of it. So the three people is Tariel Kapanadze, Don Smith, and of course Viktor Schauberger. And the you can see from those concepts of how the multiphasic, multiplexed battery management system was originated. I'm really fortunate that I have enough time now to do what I like to do. I was going to go out of town today. I was supposed to leave out this morning, and I'm glad to report that I don't have to go out of town. I wasn't going to be back, so now I have several days that I was planning to take off to play. I don't use vertex math. I use vortex math, yes. And vortex math is just the reciprocals of reflection, if you will. very easy to calculate in vortex math once you understand what you're doing with the vortex math and how it relates to the golden ratio. So, but yes, I use vortex math. A Rodin was with a Rodin coil. That is a form of exactly what I'm talking about. You got energy coming in, and the design of the coil multiplexes and multiphases, and with the right tap is what you can do. I figured that. Yeah, I read between the lines. So the just wanted to put this out there of how the management system, and that's what all it is. It's a battery management system that I'm trying to find the simplest ways to do it. And I have people helping me out on different parts all through the country. I'm not just doing it myself. There's a few more experiments that I need to know, but the whole idea with microwave oven transformers, the older ones, and the neon sign transformers, the older ones, they automatically had this set up on 2 channels, and the only thing is I've just taken it a step further, and that's the reason I call it parametric. And the parametric equations do work off the vortex math equations, and that's the reason I'll tell you, you have to have a good, dependable seed energy coming into the system. I'm not going to tell you it's over unity, because it's not. It's just a reflective trick of keeping energy moving within the system. And you do have winners and losers, and coming up with a system that reclaims the losers. So but it's not perpetual motion. It'll run for seemingly a long time, but it does run down. And I honestly believe that. Hope you guys have a blessed day. I hope this video helped you. I hope you're having fun. And I've already got my main table messed up here, because I'm doing a little TV repair project, something I hadn't done in a long time. And you know, basically what's wrong with that is that capacitor or diode or transistor's gone bad in the system and overloading the system, and they have an automatic cutoff. One of the things that's interesting, and this is actually the first flat screen that I've even opened up in my career. You know, most of the time I've just when they went out, just gone ahead and got myself another one. But I used to enjoy working on 2 TV sets, and the schemes in the flat screens, just it's amazing. It's a little bitty 3 circuit boards, basically, T-con circuit board and the driver circuit board or main board, and the power board. So you know, and really they're pretty reasonably priced for list pricing on it. And of course, you know, they're just being manufactured for nothing. Yeah, a lot of computing power is being used right now. A lot of the stuff that I'm using as far as programs and stuff won't accept the programming that we have now. So I have different computers going on that work with the different programs that I have with the different languages that I'm used to using. And so it's a culmination of a lot of things that I spent a lot of time doing. Hope you guys are having fun, because we are, and I'll see you next trip. Y'all have a blessed day.